Have you ever read or heard or seen something? Heck, felt it, and it meant everything to you? Kind of like when the holidays used to grip your young spirit and you get that feeling. You have that warm feeling of love and excitement. Or maybe I was the only young child that used to feel that way. A very sensitive, yet strong and durable feeling. It's faith, my friends. It's not easy, but very real to encompass. When your faith is tested, it's just one of those things that it is what it is. And you can't change anything from the moment of a horrible decision that seemed finite, and still it crumbled under the weight of its own height. Many things can be tested as far as we will go with them. This doctrine death is not out of malice, but rather correction and wanting people to have the proper information or more formal information that isn't biased and that isn't trying to build myself up or build up anything that I'm saying. But I did want to get a few things straight because some of you adults have become the exact thing that you didn't want to become in the first place. And that's just what I spoke on, the young child in the feeling, as well as you elders. It's crucial that I point out that several things before I give them a eulogy later on in this presentation. Most of what I'm disputing is simply that men like Horace Butler and whatever guys and whatever gals and all of the rest of the House of Mouse crew that I just don't care to name. I said rubber on pavement, people. Here we go. First, I won't even attempt to argue that some Grecians were black people or even of descendancy of a mixed being. But that's still not important, brothers and sisters. It's just a formality. What is important is that you understand who and whom the person or people are being depicted are. My arguments are relied upon the fact that you are two totally different black people on the planet existing together with one another. Well, technically three, but only two are mistaken for each other due to several factors. The first is imposing or imitation type mistakes, and the second is by sheer appearance. Mannerisms and etiquette are key to discovery of whom you are dealing with. See, biblically and historically, the Hamitic people have played different roles in the world and held different levels of status all throughout, which should be noted as far as ancient history is concerned. Semitic people have also held much of the same ground as their Hamitic cousins, and that is worth noting. The appearance of African people and an opposed Negro man have been confused for each other for such a long time. No argument of white slave ownership altering the genetics of a true Negro or African people is any type of logic. It is totally absurd. Look very closely at the facial features and what people now look like. So when you see these pictures, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Maybe going forward after hearing this presentation, it would behoove you, be circumspect, or be wise of you to look at the people that you now call your brothers and your sisters and actually look at them to understand that maybe you are dealing with one who is Hamitic or Hamitic Semitic or a combination of bloodlines that are not from either one. Anywho, another major factor is the claims made by Horace Butler himself. And it's only because he made many claims that a naive and unlearned mind sounds good to. What's worse is that even to sound minds, he sounded in some cases quote unquote genius, quote unquote prophetic, and some other Johnson stroking nonsense. Anyhow, I'm going to key in on the dear fact that Horace Wood claimed that the geographical dislocation, in case you don't know what that is, that means that the story that is being told in the Bible, where it is said to have taken place at, does not fit where they say it took place at now. So geographical dislocation brought about problems. Well, he's wrong. First, let me say maize, aka corn, has been grown in the Middle East and across seas for quite some time and a long time. Many people don't take into account real-time history, i.e. Egypt and other places of significant magnitude becoming shadows of their former selves through degradation, war, and other unfortunate occurrences, excuse me. But that's not important. For now, just think Horace Butler, that is, made an erroneous statement at best by saying that. Back to the pyramids in Egypt and how there are pyramids all over the world and how this isn't any kind of proof other than that there may or may not have been the presence of gigantic people in those regions to construct such a building. Yeah, people, that means no UFOs and no freaky deaky powers, okay? No, well, not by the little people at least. Just really large and powerful people who did possess powers and other useful abilities. This is also noted in what you call the Hebrew Bible. And the pictures that you are seeing in this presentation also denote gigantic, large people. If you were going to argue that the people who denoted these people of being large were denoting the status, the status or the stature of one's hierarchy in society, that's erroneous. It's completely erroneous. There are many of pictures where these same large people are carrying objects that are larger than the regular man or woman that they are next to. And I don't think that that would be crazy for me to say that a giant holding what looks like a lion or giants holding what look like predatory animals as if they are nothing but house animals. Well, I guess you're saying that your ancestors and those people who painted all that stuff on the wall, I guess you're saying that everything is all fake and it's all made up, pretty much. But I don't think that's the case. What I'm getting at is this. The presence of Hamitic people does not denote the presence of Semitic people, and that's just a fact. Vice versa. Saying that, to move on to other points, the book made like the missing interpretation of words or the changing of names of places was a way in which he could now say that places that he said, for example, he called what was modern day Venezuela Phoenicia. Who is he as one man to make such a claim? Yes. Because right now, as that one man, he is attempting to change what God says would become of his people. Another question, while you're still here, if you are, why does it seem like he's the modern day Paul of Tarsus type guy? Much like many of the men whom follow in those type of doctrines of usurping the laws of Moses. One last thing before I leave that alone, is Horace Butler even Semitic? Yet alone people like Farrakhan or Barack Obama? I leave that to you just to carry about looking at the pictures. And if you haven't read the book, please do so. And get why he's not only a liar, but a blasphemer. He puts himself on high at the end of his book. That is a spoiler. I will tell you this. So that way you are not surprised and you were not thinking that I was trying to get you to read some nonsense. The man has very much useful information and very much truthful information. I am not saying that what he said about the presence of what the people look like is a lie. I am saying that he has lied about the overall genealogy of the people. And that right there makes his doctrine dead. And he kills it. Saying that. Put all those pictures in their own compartment. So that way, when you get to read it, if you ever do, you get to see if what he's saying holds any real weight. Because right now, people, I'm thinking the entire thing's a sham to get your coffers and your minds discomfited. Discomfited means displaced. There are many people that use this material as a standing stone, but he is a stumbling block. Know that. And before I leave, I would like to say that this isn't to be malicious once again. This is to say that if you were to go by a historical point of view and a genealogy point of view, a biblical point of view, however you wanted to say it, um, even if you just went from a Phoenician and Ugaritic point of view, still what he's saying holds no weight. So, to say that, I would like to say this. Brother Horace, it has been nice knowing that your doctrine has been buried in dirt. I know it's going to rest. Well, burn in the fire. And I pray, I can only pray that when this all said and done, you get what's coming to you too in the after. I'm glad you're rich or whatever right now. But sir, you have caused many people to lose their salvation. And that is unforgivable. And the death of your doctrine has just taken place. And it didn't take very long. Goodbye, y'all.